Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
Hey guys, it looks like cheesy, but kind of cheesy, I'll admit that, but I just wanted to give you a quickie review, a spoiler-free review of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I'll try to go into as much as I can without giving too much away. It'll be a little easier said than done. I'll do my best, but basically, I'll start by saying this is a definitely a it's definitely a good, entertaining Star Wars movie. I don't know if I would say um, it's definitely like it's a million times better than the prequels for sure. I would say that it's better than Return of the Jedi, not quite as good as New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. It's definitely a good movie. It's definitely a worthy addition, definitely a great addition to the franchise for sure. It does have a few flaws, which I'll get into a little bit later. First of all, I gotta say that it was very well paced and well shot movie. I was geeking out the whole time. There were just moments where I'm just sitting there, just super geeky, just like, oh my god, this is so much fun. It were just like all these little moments. Like I felt like a kid again, with seeing old characters and nods back to A New Hope, which is definitely there were definitely moments that were definitely like callbacks to A New Hope, and as far as the plot's concerned, considering it's been J.J. Abrams' favorite Star Wars movie, and it basically focuses on these characters. Finn, who's who's a stormtrooper and a defector of the First Order, which is the evil organization that's risen from the ashes of the Galactic Empire. He defects and is trying to deliver, and he meets up on the planet Jakku with Rey, a scavenger who was abandoned at a young age, and BB-8, and they're supposed and they're on the run and they basically become fugitives of the First Order, which is led by Supreme Leader Snork, but the muscle, so to speak, is basically a villain named Kylo Ren. He's you would think like he's definitely like a Darth Vader fanboy, for lack of better terms, but he's not like too derivative of Darth Vader. He's not like Darth Vader. Obviously, he's not a cyborg. He's definitely He's definitely much more layered than Darth. I mean, he's not like. I mean, I would say he's multifaceted, and he's definitely more like hot-headed and he's more hot-headed and impulsive. He's not like cold and methodical like Darth Vader, which would be a difference. He has some of that, but not. He has some of those traits, but not. But again, he doesn't have like as much emotional control. I would say that the chemistry between John Boyega and Daisy Ridley was phenomenal. I definitely bought them as these like couple of misfits, like thrown into this adventure. John Boyega especially had good chemistry with Oscar Isaac. I think it's Poe Dameron, and I mean, the fact that this guy's got to be like a very versatile actor to me, because the fact that Oscar Isaac is playing this role and then going to go on to play Apocalypse in the new X-Men movie I think it's just fantastic, because he came across as like very confident, just very likable guy. I mean, I felt like his chemistry with Finn was greater than the chemistry between Rey and Finn. Not that they didn't have good chemistry. I was just surprised at how good the chemistry between those two actors were. And we definitely get to see obviously they meet up with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and their appearances don't feel forced. Like, it makes sense for why they get thrown back into the mix, and you still buy the friendship between Han and Chewbacca, and and Harrison Ford still got it. He's still playing. He can still play this role in his sleep. Like, you can tell like he's just playing Han Solo and not just like Harrison Ford. It just felt like, yeah, this is just the guy we've come to know and love. but just a little wiser, and not like a skeptic about the Force and the dark side and all this other the Force and the dark side and whatnot. No references to midichlorians, if anybody's worried about that. But there's also a moment where we get to see Leia, or General Leia, as leading the Resistance, and reappearances from C-3PO, R2-D2, Admiral Akbar, and also Luke does show up in this movie. Just don't expect a lot of screen time from him. But overall, it was nice to see, like I said, old characters interacting with new characters. They definitely bring a lot more. They bring this fresh energy to the franchise. This was definitely like the most humorous of the Star Wars movies. If you've seen any of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies, you probably know what I'm talking about, where it just has this level of humor in it. It just feels very organic and makes people in the film feel much more human and relatable, and just feel more immersed in it. And like I said, it has a great mixture of practical effects and on-set locations and visual and the CGI, and there are times where it just feels very real, like shots of the TIE fighters flying towards the camera during a sunset, or just there was even this character called Kanata, I think. She was being played by Lupita Nagod. I can't pronounce her last name. She was in 12 Years a Slave, and she had the motion capture voice of this woman named Kanata, who, she felt like she definitely gave a very standout. She basically very likable character, standout performance, and I can talk more about her in the spoiler review. But like I said, overall, Force Awakens, definitely get your money's worth. It is a fantastic movie. I would give it 4 out of 5. The only gripe I have about it is that I felt like there were some questions that were left unanswered, and you weren't sure if some of it was the stuff they were saving for episodes 8 and 9, and you just felt like you didn't get enough backstory for certain characters, and whether or not you just had to read the expanded universe stuff that was now canon by Disney in order to fill in some of the gaps, which I don't think is necessarily fair if you didn't have time to read it before the movie. But I don't know, it just leaves some questions unanswered, for better or worse. That's the only reason why I wouldn't give it a perfect score. But like I said, Star Wars The Force Awakens, go out and see it multiple times if you can. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I will go put a spoiler-filled review up on hopefully Sunday or Monday. And if you haven't already, you can go check out I'll go put an annotation for my playlist for my Jessica Jones review, and also playlist for my trailer reactions. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. Again, no spoilers until I put up the spoiler-filled review, and I'll talk to you guys later.